Hi, and welcome to this episode of The Mitchell File. I'm your host, Roosevelt Mitchell III. So Kanye West met with President Donald Trump today, and many people are outraged over some of the statements and claims that he made during the meeting. And I was scrolling through Black Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, reading the statements and just the dialogue about what people thought about Kanye having this meeting and, him wearing the MAGA hat and etc. And personally, I don't care what Kanye or anybody else does, because at the end of the day, to me, it's just one vote, and he hasn't done anything historically to prove to me that he's politically conscious anyway. So that's just my 2 cents on him. But his claims were interesting, if you will. And also the most interesting part for me was the fact that people are cropping out Jim Brown from the meeting, like Jim Brown was not sitting right next to Kanye West. Jim Brown was sitting right next to Kanye West. So if Kanye is being called all these names, why does Jim Brown get a pass? And that was my question on my Instagram page. If Kanye is all these things, Jim Brown is right next to him co-signing, why people are not mad at Jim Brown? And Jim Brown, let's look at the history of Jim Brown, because he shouldn't get a pass if Kanye does not get a pass. Jim Brown, and people equate that iconic photo with Jim Brown and Muhammad Ali, like Jim Brown has always been standing up on the right side of justice, if you will. And that is not the case. Many people do not know the truth behind that iconic photo with the athletes and Muhammad Ali. Jim Brown was sent in to talk Muhammad Ali out of standing up for what he believed in order for him to get a job. And if you don't believe me, listen to this.
You did promote a number of Ali fights, and you were
25.
25 of them.
Wow.
And I read that when Ali refused induction and he took the 43 months, he accepted his ban, that you were able to pull a few strings, and you got it to where through the Lyndon Johnson administration, if he had done some appearance work, that he could have continued to fight.
This is one of my dear friends is Jim Brown. And Jim was the guy who introduced me to Ali and got me into the business. So now when Ali takes the position that he's not going to go into the service, I had a partner in my law firm who was the treasurer of the Democratic Party. And we worked out a deal with Lyndon Johnson. Ali, you don't have to put a uniform on. Just do some exhibitions at military bases and continue your professional career. Wow. So I go to Jim, and this was the time when we were working hard to get black people into business, particularly athletes. So the idea I had with Jim Brown, in those days we had closed circuit exhibitors having regions of the country, and it was very lucrative. And football players were making like $10,000 a season. So I said, Jim, get all the athletes together, the black athletes, let them talk to Ali and convince him to take this deal. And I will divide up the country and make these guys my regional exhibitors. So Jim got Willie Davis. There weren't that many black guys in the NFL then, but all of them that were there, the good ones, he brought to that meeting. Bill Russell came. Lou Alcindor was he was a college student. He came. And the idea, Bobby Mitchell, I remember, the idea was to convince Ali to take the deal. Now, Bill Russell, when he reported accurately that was the purpose of the meeting. And they started talking to Ali, and then Ali got up and talked for 2 hours and convinced them that what he was doing was correct, not going in and so forth, and they all agreed to back him. Now they tell the story that they all met to talk Ali, to tell him that they were supporting him, which is not true. Anyway.
Now, after saying that and understanding what Jim Brown stood for back then and probably now, I mean, he shouldn't get a pass either if you feel a certain type of way for Kanye. But I would love to hear what you think about this, so please leave a comment in the section below. Until next time, my friends, be blessed and be encouraged.